Yo, what's up, everybody? We are back at you. Don't at me with Michael and Alex. It's about to be crazy, man. We got a really dope guest. Hans, you know how we really started. We gotta get him.
Come on, baby. Even though it's over Zoom and it's separated time delays, it doesn't matter. We're back, baby. In studio, kind of. Michael's on the road right now. We are here. Don't at me live. Thank God we're back. First of the new year, the 4th of January. Jalen Jacoby got nothing on us. Let's get started,
Nothing
Michael.
on us. I promise you that. But hey, we have a very, very special guest, the great Khristina Williams. You guys are going to hear more about her. She's doing her thing, man, and just so much great work. And Khristina, welcome to Don't At Me with Michael and Alex. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael and Alex, for having me. I'm super excited to kickstart this year and be here on your show. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, hey, it's just know you're joining two lunatics who love sports.
Oh, man, if the background doesn't tell you anything, we're ready. We got the mags loaded. We're ready for this show.
Hey, ready to go. So,
well, wait, Michael, it's also, we got to make a note. It's not every day that we have someone from the Forbes 30 under 30 list in studio, basically over camera with us on the program. So first off, I had to shout that out. Khristina's been killing it, guys. So we're going to find out the story.
Killing it. So much love to her. So we kind of want to give her journey and introduce you guys to her. So Khristina, tell me, how did you get started in sports media?
My start in sports media really began when I was a young girl. I grew up playing sports, played basketball in school. So that's when my passion for it really started, just like as a young girl. One interesting fact is I grew up in Harlem. And so like right across the street from me were like 3 basketball courts where I would get Shannon Bobbitt, who played for the Tennessee Bulls under Pat Summitt and also was drafted into the WNBA. LA Sparks. I would see her every day out there just cooking all of the local boys in the neighborhood. So just growing up and seeing like her be successful and get into the WNBA and playing for a great coach like Pat Summitt, it kind of inspired me to like want to play. Obviously I didn't play in like college or anything, but like just to be in and around the sport and involved in it, that's what really kind of motivated me.
Man, that's dope because, you know, I'm a fellow hooper as well. You can ask Hans.
We're both fellow hoopers.
Okay.
No, I'm the fellow hooper. I break your ankles when we play.
Man, come on. Don't even lie on camera. I dropped 20 on your ass.
Right, get out of here.
Spicy.
Yeah, don't believe the hype, man. But yeah, so that's really dope. So tell us about your company that you're the founder of. I just love the idea of it, and it's so many women who you see on ESPN, on Fox Sports that are really changing the game, and you're honestly a big part of it with your brand. Let everybody know what you got going.
So 2 years ago, I founded a platform called GirlsTalkSports TV. And really, it's just marrying my 2 passions of sports and journalism. I studied journalism in school, so I love the art of storytelling. But more so, I created Girls Talk Sports TV to give women a voice and visibility and value in sports culture. It was really important for me to create a platform where, one, there was some diversity and representation in terms of who you see delivering sports news. Growing up, it was really hard for me to like get into a lot of different sports broadcasts or be a fan of it because women were always regulated to like the sidelines, or there's always that one token woman on a broadcast of all men. And so Girls Talk Sports TV is just really putting women at the front and center of sports culture and news. So I created Girls Talk Sports TV in 2018, and I had a lot of different women on my roster. Some women who formerly played in college, some women who were just sports enthusiasts. And we started out really just covering local events, anything that we could get our hands on. And then in late 2018, started covering the WNBA. And for me, it's important to help to amplify the voices of the women of the WNBA and to tell their stories because honestly, women's sports only receive 4% of all media coverage and only 1% of sponsorship dollars. And so when you look at the statistics, it just doesn't match up. There's a huge inequity in media coverage when it comes to women's sports, especially the WNBA. And so really my platform kind of fills in the gaps of that. And it keeps people interested in women's basketball. And it's just been a heck of a journey in the last year alone. making that Forbes 30 under 30 list really, it really kind of put a stamp on what I was doing. Not that I needed validation from anyone or anything, but it just really let it be known that, I'm here. I'm, trying to help in that shifts when it comes to women's basketball, get people interested. But also, a lot of bigger companies, they look to Girls Talk Sports TV to help amplify the stories that I'm putting out there on my platform. And so I think it's important what I'm doing, because eventually it'll probably help with getting more sponsorship dollars into the league, get people more invested into women's basketball when they see that, okay, this one little platform is making noise, or people are getting interested in sports because they follow Girls Talk Sports TV for their latest news and whatever. So I'm just grateful to be in this space, to just be making a difference where I am.
Now, do you see, while you've been making these adjustments, you've been in the league basically around now for 2 years, have you seen major adjustments that you are liking, or are you wanting more? And what in particular do you want to see changed for women's sports as a whole, or if there's any particular sport that you are focused on?
I mean, again, there's a major inequity when it comes to media coverage. I feel like more people should invest in women's sports just like they invest in men's sports.
True.
This is important, especially within the WNBA. These women are the top 1% athletes. I think it's unfair that they have to go overseas as soon as their season is over in order to, make enough money or to make a living. And so obviously with the new CBA that was signed last year, there is a small step to making that change. In terms of revenue of the league and the split share and the new CBA, WNBA players can get up to 50% if the league makes a certain mark in terms of revenue. And so although they're not making as much as the NBA players, there's a small step in trying to make that change where WNBA players are receiving more money. But yeah, I'm excited for the future of the league and where it's going to go. But I think that the media, it's our responsibility, right, to make sure that these stories are told, that the women of WNBA are covered 365 days a year and not just when the season is happening.
True.
There's a lot of big stuff, a lot of exciting stuff that's actually happening. It's January. WNBA free agency is about to kick off. Lots of exciting things going on around the league, but no one is talking about it. And I feel like that's a problem. Like, we should be talking about that right now. And so for me and my platform, as far as it goes and my responsibility, I had started a podcast called Kicking It with Khristina, where I have candid conversations with the WNBA players. And I think that it's important for me to have that podcast because I feel like people can't embrace what they don't see. And so with the podcast, it really shows the players in a humanistic kind of way so that they can be relatable to people in that way, in that aspect beyond the stats and scores. And then if someone may see an interview that they like, they can then tune into the season when it comes out, or watch some games from the past, or just really get people interested in knowing the athletes beyond what they do on the court.
That's a great point, Michael. I think you'll agree with this. I'll let you go in a sec. But like, when you think about what's actually reported on sports, like realistically, just over Bleacher Report, ESPN. Let's go with ESPN for instance, right? I have not seen anything yet reporting about the WNBA free agency coming up. And when you also think about the sports that they report on most notably, it seems like everything is always geared towards male-centric sports, which of course is what's occurring right now in the most quote-unquote mainstream way, right? And what people are quote-unquote mainstream tuning into. So I find it very interesting that you're also pointing this out right now in particular, because we're seeing this trend of more and more, not only women journalism, women or female journalists on the field, but we're also seeing more sports that are getting more notation, getting more airtime. And it seems like that's an uptick that we have not acknowledged before.
True. Right. I feel like when given the opportunity, you can see how successful the league can be. This year alone, if you look at the 2020 WNBA season, when ESPN put more games on the broadcast schedule, ratings were higher this year than ever before. The WNBA draft had the highest ratings that it has ever had. And so I just feel like it's all about giving them the opportunity in the first place.
And this is the time to cash in realistically.
Exactly.
I agree. And that's why, the whole Kobe Bryant passing situation really sucked, because he had such a big plan to push the WNBA game. And it starts with the people, I think, that are kind of in control. Like, I'm so happy that they actually have a commissioner now with Kathy, who's there, and she's doing an amazing job. I wish ESPN would do more, since ESPN is the network that has that media control when it comes to the WNBA, that you will want to see them talk about we talk about the NBA 365. We should be doing the same when it comes to the WNBA, like you said. And I'll be so upset when it's a key WNBA game and it's on ESPN2.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what type of message is that sending these WNBA players, these young girls who are watching? Like, we can't even be on ESPN ABC. We have to be on ESPN2. So I think that ESPN and a lot of other media companies have to do better in giving this league its power, and which will bring more eyes, which will bring more money. And I think that you're doing a good job, Khristina, with your company.
Yeah, you're pointing that out.
These women.
Thank you. And I absolutely agree with you. I think that accessibility has been one of the key and major factors and why we don't see people watching the game as much. And I know that the league is working hard to fix, the WNBA League Pass, the app with the blackouts. ESPN has been adding more games to its main channel, which definitely has helped in terms of visibility and pushing the game out there. With the new CBA, there's more money being poured into marketing dollars and partnerships with different brands. We've seen this season that the league,
even the NBA could do more.
Yeah.
When you think about it, we have NBA TV. If we don't have any type of major sports broadcasting network such as ESPN, Fox Sports, or any of these other ones playing these games or broadcasting as much as possible, or more, that at least at some point, some of what they should be showcasing to the audience, why not create its own network to do the same thing you do with the NBA? We all grew up watching NBA TV, 3D Dennis Scott, watching Rick Kamla talk about games.
Yes.
So one thing, the beauty of the 2020 WNBA season was that the WNBA season was happening at the same time as the NBA season. And so the league tested out a lot of different things. One thing they did test out was a weekly WNBA show hosted by Atlanta Dream's Renee Montgomery, a good friend of mine, two-time WNBA champion. And I think she hosted that show weekly with Kristen Ludlow. So they had like a pilot just to test to see, okay, if we put like a weekly WNBA TV show on NBA TV, how would that bear out? And so, you see that the league is testing out many different things, again, to get more eyes on the game as well. During the 2020 WNBA season, also, because it was with the NBA season and both leagues dedicated their season to the Black Lives Matter efforts, we saw that if the WNBA players were able to stand in solidarity with the NBA players. A lot of WNBA players actually joined LeBron James More Than the Vote initiative to get people registered to vote and out to vote this election. Kyrie Irving donated millions of dollars to the WNBA players who decided to opt out of the 2020 season. So we see that there is a brother and sisterhood within both leagues. And also, just to go back to the Kobe Bryant thing, God rest his soul. But he was a huge advocate. He trained some of the WNBA players. His daughter Gigi really wanted to be a WNBA player one day. That affects the orange hoodie. Just him wearing that orange hoodie last December, it really, really created a ripple effect and interest in WNBA. That orange hoodie at the end of 2020 was named the Fashion Statement Piece of the Year. It continues to be one of the top selling pieces on the Fanatics website. So, Kobe's legacy or his passion for the women's game, it's always going to be there. We see other players taking after that role, like Steph Curry, Chris Paul, just different NBA players who are now involved with helping to train WNBA players or giving them advice. The Sabrina Ionescu effect, like her being one of the biggest rookies to come out in recent years, having the #1 selling jerseys, working with players like Chris Paul, Steph Curry. And so we definitely see that brotherhood and sisterhood again within the NBA and WNBA. And it's definitely helping in terms of cross-branding and getting younger people, boys and men, involved with the WNBA and wanting to be curious about the game as well.
I think it was 2 years ago now when Paul George was still in OKC. He talked about the WNBA and said, we know that they're all real ballers too. It's just everyone else, being the fans and the media and the outlets not showing the games, they're the ones that are talking smack and think that's how it is. But realistically speaking, we know that WNBA players are just as good ballers as NBA players. There's no dividing line. Just because gender is there and you can claim that, there is no dividing line.
Yeah, it's really just the internet trolls or people who, can't be successful in basketball who talk smack. And I mean, obviously there's value in this league. So I think in years to come, we'll see. We have to remember the WNBA is only in its 24th year, going into the 25th year. So, we're in 2021. We're going to be celebrating the 25th anniversary of the WNBA. I feel like the league is doing okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The NBA is so far ahead, of the WNBA. So I feel like we're just moving at our own pace right now. So.
Hey, what I'm going to say is if the NBA can overpay guys like Rudy Gobert to get $205 million, they can overpay WNBA players and give them money that we may think is crazy, but it will kind of change the view that people will have to be like, whoa, like they're getting paid this. I need to tune in to see why these players are getting paid this. And I think that will help. So I wanted to talk to you. Khristina, I want to talk about the Forbes, the under 30. How did that happen, and just like the feeling you got from it? I know you talked about it a little earlier, but just tell me, man, how did that happen? That's so dope.
So every year, Forbes makes this 30 under 30 list, and they have different categories, and they kind of honor 600 people total. So I was named to the 30 under 30 sports list alongside like Shams from the NBA, Ben Simmons, WNBA champion Natasha Cloud, WNBA MVP Asia Wilson, my girl Ari Chambers at Bleacher Report, and also Chanae Gumacan plays for the LA Sparks. That was kind of dope, just to see that I was considered for that list amongst all those other great people in sports. And really, how did it come about? So you have to get nominated. So apparently I was nominated by a bunch of people to be on the list. And I found out that I made the list because I was on Twitter. It had to be about like 7 a.m. in the morning. And my friend Dorothy Gentry, who is also a reporter for the NBA and WNBA, she had first tweeted me, and I didn't really see the mentions, but then she texted me like, girl, wake up, like, you're on the list. And I'm like, what? And I look and I'm like, what? Is this a joke? And it's like, I made the Forbes 30 under 30 list. It was just, it's a great feeling. One, because just knowing like my journey and how I got here, just being someone who's independent, an independent media outlet in the digital space, who's worked tirelessly for the last 2 years to just make a name for myself in the sports industry, because I felt like no one was going to give me an opportunity. So just carving out my own niche and creating my own platform, I felt like it was important for someone like me to be on the list, because I'm representing all those people who are doubting themselves, who want to start their own thing, but maybe they don't know if they can do it. And so me making that Forbes list really represents those people who want to start their own thing, but maybe on the fence. I'm glad that I can inspire people to go out there and just do the thing that they love most. Like, the rewards will come after, but like when you do the work and you're consistent, everything else will come. And so it was a great feeling to be on that list. Like, again, among all those great people, some of my peers within the WNBA, but it really does say something about where women's sports is going in general. There were some amazing reporters, women in sports, who were also honored on the list. Malika Andrews was also honored. But really, you had Janae, you had Natasha, Asia, myself, and Ari, all covered the WNBA. So 5 out of the 25 on the sports list were WNBA reporters or athletes. So that just says a lot.
Yeah, it showed that you're standing out with your work. So, man, keep it up, keep killing it. Just watching you from a distance, seeing your work, man, I'm like, damn, I'm feeling proud that that moment happened for you.
Wait. Will you repeat that stat again so everyone can hear that?
With the 5 out of 25? Yeah, so I was just going to say, 5 out of 25 on the sports list were all from WNBA. And, like I said, that means everything to me, because it shows where the league is headed. In that sense. But also, I believe that Forbes had a percentage out that said 49% of the people who made the sports list were people of color. And so for me, that's just like up my alley, because I created my platform specifically, one, because as a Black woman in sports, it's so hard to like get that big break. And so just creating my own thing, like I said, it validated it. Even though I didn't need the validation, it just kind of put that stamp on it. So now, like, I'm here, the industry, I'm here to stay.
Yeah, and hey, we always need that pat on the back, man. So I just love that. Speaking of a pat on the back,
That's
you
so
know, just since
cool,
we all
man.
three hoopers, a guy who's, I guess he didn't really need a pat on the back, but he showed out yesterday, and Steph Curry was like, all this disrespect y'all giving me, y'all better put some respect on my name. And he came out and gave us 62 points.
62 points, 18
amazing.
of 31 from 3, and 18 of 21 from the free throw line. Yeah, we get it. We get it.
Hey, he looked like me versus you.
You got that Kobe Bryant poster behind you. So Steph Curry, he matched Kobe's 60-point game in less than 36 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to me how people forget like how great of a player Steph Curry is. Like honestly, we know that Clay is out and he needs help on the offensive end, but don't ever doubt Steph Curry, man. Like last night, he really put his stamp on it, like you said, and just really show people that I'm still here. I'm still a great player. But really, it's interesting to see how the Warriors' offense has to change since all different player changes and roster changes, where you don't see Steph Curry having to move off the ball. And now, like, he has the ball in his hands a little bit more, and just like how they have to change everything now to like match that.
Look,
yeah,
Steph Curry had a marvelous game. I
Yes.
came out before that game with a video on Clutch Points saying if Steph Curry and the Warriors want to make the playoffs, it would be all on Steph Curry, because this is the primed opportunity to have an Allen Iverson-esque season where you're dropping 30 a game. You have a bunch of new guys that are getting used to you. You have some of your old vets. You have a free-flowing system, and you are a three-point specialist and also an off-the-dribble god. So take advantage of it and have a great game. What did he do? He dropped 62 points to get them to win. To get them to win. Let's remember that.
Definitely see the ball in his hand a lot more. Like
No, 100%. 100%. He needs to have the ball in his hands to be, one, efficient, and also, two, for them to be winning. But the fact is, he will have to have 30 to 40 points a night to will them to win each night, game in and game out. And if he doesn't, they won't make the postseason, and it's all on him. It's nobody else, because he's the guy that can will them to the postseason, just like AI did, just like Russ did, with literally nobody. Let's remember, Andre Roberson was the starting small forward on that team. Andre Roberson, who airballs more free throws than he makes. If Curry does not drop that every night, that's why it's great to see that he dropped 62 points. He needed to have a big night, and we needed to be reminded, especially after what Dame said. But let's be realistic here. He's going to have to do this more frequently than not, just for them to get a W in the column every night.
It's going to be big for Steph Curry, and he has to, of course, play great. But he's a great player. That's what he's going to do. This is just really going to show us how great of a coach is Steve Kerr. Can he make the adjustments needed for this roster to be a playoff team? Like, they have to clearly go away from a motion offense because you don't have Steph and Clay out there. So you have to get more pick and roll and make guys become a team that's not just shooting, just driving to the rim. So yesterday they got to that. So I'm just, interested to see exactly what they're going to get to. Because Steph never shoots 19 free throws, and he did yesterday because he's attacking the rim.
He attacked the rim, yeah, but they did not get away from the fact that they are a jump shooting team. You hit the nail on the head. They need to run more pick and roll with two guys. One, their number 2 overall pick, James Wiseman, who is the perfect pick and roll candidate, and two, Draymond Green, even though he's washed. And no, I don't say that seriously. He's older, coming back from injury, and he needs to get back into the motion of things. So he needs to run that with him and Draymond Green and also Wiseman, because they need to get back to that style of offense like you're saying, Michael. But no, last night, Curry got to the line, but that doesn't mean he was taking and driving to the rim 100% of the time. You not see how many three-pointers he hit? He
shot 16, made 8, so he was shooting that thing. So he did a great job.
Sorry, I had to have my full-blown, nutty moment just because everyone was hyping up Steph Curry this morning, and I'm sitting here thinking, look, of course he had to drop 62. They would have lost if he didn't.
Right. But Wiggins needs to step up, and Oubre.
That's something that we've said for the last 10 years now.
And make sure you remember this, Himes. I told you here, light-skinned guys run the world, and Steph Curry is the leader. And that Steph Curry and Drake are the leaders, and that's why the world is in good hands.
Damn, what the hell happened to you then? That sucks, man.
Don't do that to me. But man, Khristina, we thank you so much for joining us, giving our fans your story. And we hope you enjoyed us, man.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
Thank you
so
for coming and spending this time with us. This is how you got to do COVID right. You got to do Zoom calls. You got to yell a little bit. You got to get angry, and then you got to celebrate. And we celebrated with a 30 under 30 guest here today, people. Are you kidding me?
Hey,
Girls Talk Sports, check it out. The takeover is coming.
I need you to touch the camera or something so we can get some of that luck.
Bang, bang. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So we can get some of that luck. But Khristina, let everyone know where they can find your work and all the great things that you're doing.
Absolutely. So you can find me at Khristina Williams on Instagram, at Khristina2334 on Twitter. You can find GirlsTalkSports.tv on Instagram, Girls Talk Sports TV on Twitter. We have a YouTube channel also on Apple and Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, Anchor. Look up Kicking It with Khristina and check out some of my dope interviews with players like Renee Montgomery, Natasha Cloud.
People,
hey!
check her out. Follow, show love. We show love here at Don't At Me, baby.
I got you.
Girls Talk Sports. Let's not forget. Wait. Girls Talk Sports. There we go. People, show the love. Give them a follow. That's what we do here.
Hit that follow button for sure. And yeah, support women's sports. More importantly, support the WNBA. I'm super excited about the 2021 season. The 25th anniversary of the WNBA is happening this year.
Man.
The Olympics is supposed to happen as well. Hopefully, let's knock on some wood that the Olympics happen.
Yep.
Definitely tune in to the league this summer, and also watch out for the WNBA free agency as well.
Shout out to the WNBA. And guys, you know what time it is. As usual, this has been the latest episode of Don't At Me with Michael and Alex, starring Khristina Williams, the 30 under 30 guest as usual. So guys, you know what we got to say. Like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube at Alexander Himes, and also check us out on Instagram at Michael the PG and at HimesLA everywhere. People, we'll catch you next week.